Alright everyone, welcome back to Modern Warfare 2, and in this video, I'm going to do something a little different, something that I did previously. I actually made a video back in August, before the beta for this game even came out, talking about what I wanted for the game, things I thought the game needed, if I thought the game would be successful, and then I made a video during the beta in October talking about those things and if the beta kind of met those things. But I haven't made one talking about the actual game yet. I've now played this game for about a month. I've played Season 1 now for about a week, almost a week, and I have some thoughts on the things that we went over in those videos. If you want to go check those videos out, they're on the channel. You can go check them out. I'll probably have a card up at some point during this to link to that video, so you can just click that and go ahead and jump over to that video. I'll just put it right now so you guys can just go ahead, go to that video first so you have the context for this video. But I'm gonna go over those things and whether the game has met them so far or not, and whether I have any hope whether they will be met at some point, or if it's something we're just gonna have to live with. So let's just jump into it. So the first thing I talked about in those prior videos were the maps. I felt like they needed to have really good original maps for this game that were not brought back from other games, because I felt like in Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War they kind of leaned too heavily into the nostalgia as opposed to having really good original memorable maps for those games. If you think about the old games back in the day, you really remember a lot of those maps because they were so good and so memorable, like Terminal and Crash and Seatown and Dome, among a lot of other memorable maps from those games. And I felt like in Vanguard and in Black Ops Cold War, they kind of leaned too much to the nostalgia, bringing back old maps, as opposed to having good, originally designed maps for those games. And so I felt like this game needed desperately to have really good design maps that were original to this game, not brought back from 2019, but original for this game. And I can say without a doubt so far that I am very impressed with the maps in this game. I am happy with the maps. There's only one map that I don't like in this whole game. There's only one, and it's the border crossing map. Which a lot of people will agree with is very bad. But other than that, I have no problems with any of the other maps. They're all well designed, they're fun to look at, they're colorful, they're not boring and brown and bleh. Like I said, they're well designed, so the pace that you have on those maps are really, good, and they gives you options to play it different ways, which I really like, especially for when I'm going for camos and I need long shots or stuff like that. I have to play differently. The maps give you that ability. So A+ on the maps. They did really well on this, and I'm really excited to see the other maps that come out in the coming seasons. The next thing I talked about in those prior videos was the gunsmith. Now, the gunsmith, I felt like in Vanguard and in Black Ops Cold War before it were overcomplicated. It was so many attachments, so much going on. It just felt tedious to be in the gunsmith, as opposed to feeling fun and being able to go in and tinker with the guns to your liking and make your own creations. It just felt overcomplicated and tedious. And I think so far for Modern Warfare 2, I enjoy the gunsmith. They really simplified it down. It's 5 attachments. Yes, can it be a little difficult to understand what the attachments do? Sure, yes. And I feel like in the future patches they will fix that and make it a little more easy to understand what the hell they're even for, because some of them it makes like you don't know what they do, and so it's a little vague in that aspect. But in terms of just like making it simple, it's just 5 attachments. You put them, there's no options to put more than 5, at least not that I know of. You can only put 5, and you build the gun to your liking in that way. The tuning can be a little complicated, but I don't feel like it's that bad. I feel like it's still pretty easy to understand. Like, okay, this, if I tune it this way, it helps this attribute. If I tune it this way, it helps this attribute. And I kind of really enjoy that. It gives you a little diversity in the way you can really tinker with the weapons and make them to your own liking. So I actually really like the way they did the gunsmith. The UI was a little wonky at first, but they kind of smoothed it out, and I think this is definitely a plus. They did really well with the gunsmith. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is the sound, specifically footstep audio. Now, footstep audio, when it first came out and in the beta, was super loud, super duper loud. They've tweaked it a couple times, but it's still super loud. You can still hear people a mile away. But then the Season 1 update dropped, and the patch came for that. And all of a sudden, at least maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just Shipment, or Shoot House, excuse me, because that's all I've been playing, but it seems very inconsistent now. Sometimes you'll hear people across the map, and then sometimes people will be right next to you, jumping around, mantling things, jumping through windows, sliding, diving, and you hear nothing. And I don't know if that's a bug that they need to fix, or it was unintended, but it's really annoying because it's super inconsistent. So you think you can't really like judge it. It's not like you can be like, okay, there's no sound, so I need to really be pay attention, because you do hear footsteps sometimes perfectly normally. but then sometimes you don't. So like you think, okay, you're good, there's no one around, and then all of a sudden, boom, somebody shows up because you don't hear them. And I don't understand why they struggle so much with footstep audio. First of all, the footstep audio in general, even when it was normal and not glitchy like that or inconsistent, it was still super loud and way too loud because nobody can move. You can hear everybody, so no one can move. If you sprint around, you're basically just trying to die because everyone will hear you. They'll be waiting around the corner and you will die. And so I think that's something that definitely needs to be tweaked again because it's still a little bit too loud and now it's inconsistent and I don't understand it. So that's definitely not a check for me. That is an X. Big X running on the footstep sound. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is skill-based matchmaking. You knew it was coming. Here it is. So I'm going to talk about it real quick. In those videos prior that I made talking about things I wanted for this game, I didn't say remove skill-based matchmaking because I knew that wasn't going to happen. They're not going to take skill-based matchmaking out of the game. I wasn't expecting it, so I'm not asking for it. What I did say was they needed to tweak it. They need to really tone it down because it's insane. The skill-based matchmaking that was in Vanguard, that was in Black Ops Cold War, that was in Modern Warfare 2019, it's insane, and they needed to really tune it down. Just have kind of loose skill-based matchmaking in pubs, and then in Ranked, whenever Ranked comes out, then you can go ahead and put in like a tougher skill-based matchmaking for Ranked, because that's what will make sense, right? It's Ranked. That's what you play Ranked for, to play people of your skill. You play pubs to have fun, and you're not allowed to have fun with skill-based matchmaking. I'm sorry, you're not. People will say, oh, you just want to, crap on all the shitty players, and that's why you want skill-based matchmaking to be gone. No, I want skill-based matchmaking because there's no variety in the game if skill-based matchmaking's in it. And I'll give you an example of this. With skill-based, I did this in the last video, I'm going to do it again. Skill-based matchmaking's in the game. Every single game is exactly the same. Every one. There is no difference. Every game is the same one. You play the same game on repeat. You have to use the same guns. You have to use the same perks. You have to use the same tactical and lethals. The same kill streaks. Play the same way. And sweat your ass off to have a good game. It's not that you don't have the good games. I still do have the good games. It's just that the way you have to play to get those good games isn't fun. It drains you. It's just not fun to play that way. You're playing all these kids who are sweating their little asses off. Like, they think they're going to get picked up by some professional gaming org because they saw them one time drop a 40 and get 2 minutes on the hard point. Who cares? Like, no one wants to have fun anymore in this game, especially the sweats. And when you put skill-based matchmaking, the good players who just want to have fun and just happen to be good at the game, they get screwed because they get put with those sweaty little sweat lords. And you can't have fun. So that's why I said they should tweak it. Not because I don't want to shit on crappy players. That's not it at all. It's just you have no variety. You can't use the different weapons in the game. You can't use different perks. You can't use different strats. It's the same thing over and over again, and it gets boring and exhausting after a while. And that's why people tend to play the game when it comes out, and then after a few months the game dies because it gets exhausting. And then they really need to tweak this, in my opinion, if they want the game to really take off, because this game has a lot of potential. But they really need to fix the skill-based matchmaking. And I'm not saying take it out, just tweak it. So the next thing I want to talk about is the time to kill. I felt like before the game came out, before I played anything, I said the time to kill needed to be somewhere between Vanguard and Cold War, because Black Ops Cold War's TTK was way too long, and then Vanguard's was too short. You died instantly, and that was not good. You needed to be somewhere in between, where I felt like there was still some outplay ability, there was still some ability to get to cover and not die instantly, but also not make it ridiculously long. And they made it way too fast. I played the beta, it was too fast, and I said they needed to make it longer, and they haven't. It's exactly the same. It's still way too fast, especially because when you're playing against sweats constantly, like I am, anybody around my skill level, and I'm not saying I'm amazing at the game, because I'm not, but anybody around my skill level who's playing sweats all the time, you're gonna die you're just dying quickly every time, because you're dying to M4s, you're dying to AK-74Us, AK-47. Nobody in this game that I play against uses anything other than the meta weapons 99% of the time. So you die to those super quickly, and it's just there's just not a lot you can do to kind of get to cover or make an outplay or flick to them and kill them, because you just die so fast you have no chance to react. So I think they do need to adjust that a little bit, make it a little bit longer, and I think the game will be played just a little bit better than it does now. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about is something that's a little near and dear to my heart, because I am one who goes for camos. I am one who gets the mastery camos in all the games, and I felt like in the previous games, especially in Vanguard, it was just, some of the camos were ridiculous with the different attachments and getting like long shots in different times with different attack. It just felt super tedious and unnecessarily tedious, and it was over the top, and it was just too much, and I felt like they needed to kind of tone it down a little bit, still make it feel like a grind, but at the same time make the camo challenges just more fun to do and not as grindy as they were. I don't mind the grind, but not to the point that it was just like insane in Vanguard where you needed like 300 long shots sometimes, because it was 100 with these attachments, then 100 long shots with these, then 100 long shots with these. It just felt like it was too much, and I feel like they really needed to kind of tone it down, back down a little bit. Modern Warfare 2019's camo challenges were pretty insane as well, but since you had shipment, they didn't feel as bad. And it was just, it was still really tedious, but it didn't feel as bad. The mounted kills were kind of tough, but it didn't feel as bad as Vanguard, because Vanguard, the time to kill was insane, and then on top of that, you had to put on just bad attachments a lot of the times and get like a certain amount of kills with those crappy attachments on not good guns. So it didn't feel fun to do, and I feel like they really need to revamp that a little bit just to make it fun, and also make the camos really nice. And I think they did a really good job with this in this game. The camo grind still feels like a grind. It still feels like you're putting in a lot of work to do it, but it doesn't feel like it's just super over tedious for no reason. There's no like crazy get 100 long shots. Like the platinum challenges are literally just long shots, and it's 25 long shots per weapon, and then you get them platinum as you go along and get 25 per. That's the kind of challenges that I like, because it's something you can get done relatively fast. It's not, you still need to grind for them, and you still need to be pretty decent at the game to be able to grind for them, but at the same time it's not overwhelmingly tedious, and I feel like they did a really good job with that in this game. So overall, I think Modern Warfare 2 2022 has an incredible amount of potential. This game could be one of the best Call of Duties we've ever had if the developers tweak the things I said in this video, and some other things that maybe I didn't touch on, or maybe that I'm not thinking of. But if they just do a few tweaks here and there, this could be one of the best Call of Duties we've ever had. The game looks great, it feels great, the movement is great, the guns are pretty fun. I've encountered any overpowered weapons, and it has all the potential in the world to be one of the best CODs we've ever had, if they just have those few tweaks here and there that could really help it reach that potential. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe, hit that little notification bell. I post pretty much every single day. If there's anything that you think needs to be changed that I didn't talk upon in this video, or that I missed, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.